I'm inside of Ballard's right now. This is one of many places in Block Island that are trying to recover from Sandy, but there's also a lot of streets that need a lot of work. Block Island tries to fight off Hurricane Sandy. Eyewitness News boarded the first ferry to the island after Sandy struck. From the boat, it was easy to see the force of the superstorm. Ballard's was hit hard. Doors were torn off. Inside, crews clean up inches of sand and water. Other businesses were hit too.
It came fast and it came powerful.
The spring house lost shingles, and the manager says the entire deck moved in the storm.
It was never like this. It lifted it up. Then the supports under it, he said they're almost 45 degrees.
The Mohegan Bluffs faced a daunting force from Sandy, but looked to survive serious erosion.
I'd never seen such enormous waves. And the wind was really howling.
The Southeast Lighthouse also survived nearly unscathed, but the most apparent damage was to oceanside streets.
First, the east side took a beating. We got some roads chewed up pretty badly. We'll probably be down to a single lane in a few places.
Corn Neck Road and Spring Street were obliterated by the tidal surge, concrete and asphalt clinging to the edge. As residents returned home to the island on the ferry, they were optimistic for the future.
But this is an island where people pull together, and it's a great community.
Town officials say that they're trying to reopen the roads in the next couple of months, but they also say that they're working on future repairs to try to make sure this doesn't happen again. Reporting with the Mobile Newsroom, Steve Nielsen, Eyewitness News.
It's cleanup day in southeastern Massachusetts, where some of the biggest problems were with coastal flooding and beach erosion. Large waves continue to batter the coastline of Westport, but the water is a lot calmer and lower now than it was Monday evening.
So all that sand you see over there, that came from the ocean.
Rocks and sand were pushed over East and West Beach roads here. Bulldozers work to get things fixed fast because this is an emergency road for several thousand people living here.
Right now what we're doing, we're clearing the road. We're going to be putting back the gravel and stones, and we're just going to take it from there.
The water came up several hundred feet inland and still sits in people's yards. As far as the beach erosion goes, they feel they lost a lot of beach, but they won't know for sure until the surf settles down.
Town-wise, we did very well in this comparison. Maybe 75% of the people throughout the town lost their electric due to a lot of limbs, trees falling down.
As of last night, we had 4,009 New Bedford customers, N-Star customers without power.
New Bedford Mayor John Mitchell said the number of people without power was dropping through the day. Outside of a few trees and a couple of road closures, he said New Bedford fared well during the storm.
The power of these storms, nobody can underestimate.
Massachusetts Senator John Kerry was with emergency officials in Framingham during the storm, and for the sake of Massachusetts was glad to see the storm turn west. Kerry also said that the Civil Air Patrol will be flying over the Massachusetts coastline today to take pictures of any potential damage so that emergency funding could be freed up from Washington to make repairs. With the Southeastern Massachusetts Mobile Newsroom, I'm TJ Del Santo, Eyewitness News.
Things are back to normal here at the Chandler at Cliff Walk, where we brought you live reports before, during, and after Sandy. Meanwhile, cleanup continues around Newport. Following Sandy's massive storm surge, crews worked to clear Newport's famous Ocean Drive. The road was closed, but Newport police showed our Eyewitness News cameras where massive waves created dangerous conditions, leaving portions of the road impassable, littered with shale, boulders, and concrete cinder blocks. Lifelong residents of Newport say they've never seen the ocean so powerful.
That was loudest and the hardest waves I've ever seen. That was actually pretty incredible to see.
Front-end loaders also worked to clear Memorial Boulevard early Tuesday morning after massive waves washed sand and rock from Easton's Beach into the roadway. Annie Becker lives nearby.
The high tide in the morning barely crossed the street, but the high tide in the evening came up very quickly, probably 3-4 feet higher than the morning tide, and it came into my house filled the basement with about 4 feet of water.
And this was the scene all throughout Newport Tuesday as crews began cleaning up trees and large branches that had toppled over in the high winds.
It was definitely very windy. I'm pretty exposed. So it was about 5-6 hours of big breeze and a lot of shaking and rattling.
Officials say they hope to have Ocean Drive reopened by Wednesday evening. Reporting with the East Bay Mobile Newsroom, I'm Jennifer Mobilia, Eyewitness News.
Waves washed onto the street, sweeping away the seawall. Sandy may have left the area, but she left her mark here in Narragansett, most prominently on the historic Coast Guard house.
We have a mess to clean up, and like Frank said, nobody was injured. That's the most important thing.
Throughout the restaurant, broken tables and chairs. Sandy ripped boards off of windows, busted glass, and flooded floors.
It's disheartening to look at it.
The governor took a look at the damage Thursday morning.
Well, you can see a restaurant that sticks right out into the surf. That's why it's so popular. But when you get a storm, you can have adverse consequences.
By midday, hundreds of onlookers stopped by to see what happened. But the cleanup had already begun. Coast Guard House employees came here voluntarily Tuesday, and since early in the morning, they've been clearing away glass and broken furniture and starting the rebuilding process.
The real shame of it is we have a very good staff here, and we would like to get the place back open for them as soon as possible.
This is a new day. The sun will rise in the east tomorrow, and we'll get it done. It'll be better than ever. The front row of ripped, rattled, and now wide open cottages weren't always the closest to the tide. Chris Trevelli's been coming to Carpenter's for 40 years.
There used to be a road that went in front of it, and then you could park straight in, and then you had a beach. The beach is gone, the parking's gone, the road's gone.
Tom Shalvey left his summer getaway around 6 last night. The storm was peaking and still pounding, as we discovered about a mile away from Carpenter's. You can see the water churning here, and
the waves were actually banging on the front of the cottage at that time.
He measured the beachfront then and measured again this morning.
We lost about 43 feet of coastline, just in that one storm.
While plans to rebuild are already underway here, there was an amazed sigh of survival up the road in Matunic.
With your religious prayers or karma or whatever you want to call it, there was like some sort of like force field around the ocean mist, because it was literally water was on it.
And under its precarious structure of sand-supported stilts. The storm raked away at the shrinking shore, but the ocean mist stood strong. And if you were among the hopeful, the owner felt it.
It's definitely heartwarming, almost, you kind of want to have a tear in your eye type of thing.
Yeah.
This is Mary Carpenter's Beach Meadows, not far from the ocean in South Kingstown. It's now waterfront property, courtesy Sandy.
It's something that you deal with when you have a place with the ocean right across the street. That's the reason we're here during the summer, because the ocean is so beautiful. You have a great view. But unfortunately, when stuff like this happens, you deal with it.
So this is the new sidewalk here. A bit of a maze, but nothing insurmountable.
This whole deck and the outdoor shower floated from down the street there. It's amazing. It's just amazing what water can do.
You're analyzing this so matter-of-factly, as though what?
As though Mother Nature's in charge. We have no control over it.
This isn't the first time we've been through this. This is our second trailer we've had to total because of it down here. And we've never moved. We're still in the same spot. It's the best spot to be, except for times like this.
Just like some of these other South County towns, Charlestown was absolutely ravaged by Hurricane Sandy. Some of the hardest hit areas include Charlestown Beach Road and Quaney Pond, and we're told it's going to take a long time for things to get back to normal. The visual evidence is devastating. The numbers are equally staggering. Nearly a third of people still without power, dozens of homes condemned, and 3 destroyed.
We could see that there used to be a dwelling, and there was no remnants of it. I mean, not even pylons sticking up from where the home was.
Many Charlestown residents won't even get access to the road to see their homes until Saturday, specifically those living on Charlestown Beach Road. It's been hard for many people to come to grips with what's happening.
They're starting to get aggravated and, a little short temper because they don't have the showers, they don't have any running water because they have wells.
The town's water issues could prevent many residents from going back to their homes even if they're determined structurally sound.
Either their septic systems or water system has been compromised. Therefore, we're not going to be able to let people back in to actually reside in those dwellings located along Charlestown Beach.
Officials hope to get funding from FEMA to help with the damage. They fear that it could take a year to get things back to normal. Town officials are using a traffic light system to let residents know if it's okay to go back into their homes. Green means good, yellow means restricted use, and red means unsafe. Unfortunately, officials fear that many of these homes are not going to change from red ever again. With the South County Mobile Newsroom, Andrew Adamson, Eyewitness News.
You need to see through the debris. You can't focus on the debris. When you focus on the debris, you see destruction. When you see through it, you see opportunity.
A poignant moment from the owner of Patty's Beach in Misquamicut, despite his beach bar being in near ruins.
The 3 main buildings are standing, corners are intact, foundations look good, a lot of debris, just debris everywhere.
And everywhere you look here in Westerly, the damage just goes on and on. Right now we're at the Seashell Motel where there's dozens of mattresses completely destroyed, and this is what we're seeing all throughout the town.
Just a mess, and the sidewalks and the roadways, and getting rid of the sand and the debris.
And removing the feet of sand churned up from Sandy, a major feat. Homes have been physically moved, others knocked off their foundation, and antique cars unearthed from the sand dunes in the massive destruction. The governor and other state officials toured the damage Thursday, vowing to get federal funding to help with the cleanup.